everybody, and welcome to another Ultimate Decades video. My name is Renzi, and we are currently in the year 1319, which it took me a second to realize that I am due for another recap video because we're at the end of the decade. So that's exciting and coming up. Instead of a featured comment, I wanted to point out that after the last episode, I know it was awful and I'm a little behind on filming, but the last episode has been posted by now. And there were a few people who mentioned resurrection. And because I did introduce magic to this challenge, and because technically there are no rules against resurrection, I definitely see the point. I'm not going to say no, because there are some things that I have been considering after Emmeline unfortunately passed away, but there's no guarantee, because when I sort of weigh my options, the thought of bringing back Emmeline when we could bring back Dominic, for example, just doesn't seem fair. I don't know, maybe there are parameters like a certain time limit for this to take place, and since it's been over a year since the famine, maybe that wouldn't be possible for Dominic. But there is something that I am planning, but it doesn't guarantee that anyone's going to be brought back to life. So I wanted to put that out there. I do love the idea of Emmeline coming back, and some people said maybe she develops like a darkness or dark powers or like Dark One vibes, and I definitely love that, and that's definitely on par with what I was considering. But again, no guarantees here. Also, I just had a quick question regarding locations. Obviously, with all the decades, I don't want this to be a purely Eurocentric world, and that's not going to be the case. I do want to do more research. I definitely would like your guys' input on what other empires or countries I could possibly add to this series. I know Morbid added the Mali Empire, and I think I think she has that in Oasis Springs. I definitely love Ottoman history, and it would have been in its early stages around this time. I don't think Constantinople or modern day Istanbul was conquered until the 1400s, I believe. I think it was part of the Byzantine Empire at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is right off the top of my head because I do not script these. So again, I am weighing my options. So, there are a lot of possibilities. As always, I love your input, but it is something I'm considering, and it is something that I will be hoping for in the future. All that to say, I know Henford on Bagley is supposed to be an English-inspired thing, just like Windenburg is supposed to be a German-inspired world, but obviously I have it as England adjacent, largely because I know initially a lot of people started the challenge here, and also I had the benefit of the override that makes it look medieval, and I couldn't find anything similar. But I was thinking maybe Henford on Bagley could possibly be this game's version of Scotland, mostly because I know approaching the 100 Years' War, Scotland did side with France, and I know I haven't been like 1000% historically accurate, and this is The Sims, and this has become like an alternate universe, but that was just my thought. And also with Outlander coming back, I just thought of like Leoric and his brother with Scottish accents, and I was like, oh my. But yeah, so those are a few of my thoughts, and I'd love to see what you guys think. It's not necessary. I could keep Henford as the English countryside. It's not a big deal. And stay tuned. I do have a scheduled post because I wanted to see how the deceased kids look, at least the ones that we had for a while. So at about 3 o'clock Eastern time, there will be a community post, and I'll tweet it, of Emmeline and Dominic as teenagers, and they look so great. Emmeline looks just like Matilda. It's crazy. And I know I'm going to give this video a clickbait title. Don't worry, the death is planned. It's not like a surprise death. So stay tuned. That'll probably be at the end should things go as planned. That was a really long intro. I'm sorry. So we're back at the farm. Mags is here tending the garden and catching some ladybugs. This is actually a feature with the Brazen Lotus mod. We've got a few plants sprouting. They look so cool because this mod also makes everything look different. Most things look different, I guess. So yeah, Mags is just catching her little ladybugs, and it's so cute. I feel like she's definitely the kind of kid to just collect bugs. And you guys love James's makeover. He is a salt and pepper king, and he is a handsome dad. Dare I say he is a DILF. What's John up to? Okay, he's just chilling with it. He looks very confident. And as you guys know, he is a little kleptomaniac, so I'm excited to see where that goes. But the siblings are here with their mother. And I noticed last episode, George really took the deaths so hard. It's clearly affecting him really, really bad. But they seem to be a little okay today. You know, I actually have Elric's wedding planned for tomorrow, so that's like 3 months from now. So we'll be seeing that in the next sim day. I'm gonna have Matilda shear Teddy. Let's give him a pet first and shear, and we'll probably not today. I think after the wedding we'll go to the marketplace at one point if I have time. Actually, we have no money, so I'm actually gonna have James go to the marketplace with the big kids to sell some of his wares. So let's go. Okay, so we are at the marketplace where James will be selling his wares. So we'll use this stall, and I'll have James go stock the table while the kids just have a little fun here. Oh, look at her little ladybug jar. I love that. Yeah, I'm gonna, maybe Margaret's like, Dad, I want to sell these ladybugs. Let's see if people will buy them. So let's stock the table with the ladybugs. And I think, yes, I have to start a yard sale here. So James is just selling his wares. He's selling some wool. Let's see if we can make some money. Okay, so let's go give Martine a sales pitch. Martine, again, is Pierre's mother. Who is this? Hello. Oh, that's King Arn's knight. He is so handsome. Oh, and the queen's here. She's pretty great. Let's give her a sales pitch too. But you've got this. Let's make some money. Okay, it looks like the queen bought something. Thank you for supporting your local businesses. It looks like Queen Isabella is here too. I also went through the save file and just started aging some people up. So she's still an adult, but her hair is graying because Joan and Cassian, I think, should be aging up in the next sim day as well. So yeah, I just gave Isabel a few lines and stuff. She's still very pretty. I don't know why she's sneering at this guy. Okay, she's not supposed to be here, but I'll just introduce her. She is actually a gallery sim. So this is Esther Beauverley, I believe. She was submitted by Saf RR, and they say, Rinsey Decades, love your series. Here's a peasant sim, so thank you. So I've also been adding gallery sims here and there. The gallery is a little wonky, but you guys have submitted such awesome sims. So again, slowly I'll be adding them throughout the episodes just so I don't like use them all up at the same time. And you'll meet a couple others this episode as well. But she'll come up later in this episode as well because I gave her a mother who she lives with, and yeah, we'll meet them. Stay tuned. Yeah, Sir Godwin is so hot. I don't know why I never really noticed. Again, he's another gallery sim. I think I just looked up medieval. Oh, Florian's here. Also, Florian is married. He married one of the Capettes, I think. Okay, Trader Jacques. Someone also said they ship Trader Jacques with James, which is hilarious. I love that. James, come back to your table. Look, Alice came back. She's like, I love your wares. You remind me of this other carpenter guy. You look just like him. And James is like, yeah, actually, that was my father. And Alice is probably like, oh my God, that was your father. Edmund was such a great guy. So yeah, it looks like she bought something else. Oh, Philip is here. And here's Lady Kaith Godfrey. I think she's the daughter of the knight that Leoric fought. Let's change her outfit. There you go. Oh yeah, I think he was married to the king's sister, because wasn't his last name Godfrey? Yeah. Oh, Alice came back for more. She said, you're doing such a great job. All right, so we've almost sold all our stuff. Let's stock it again. It looks like Philip's talking to the kids as well. He and Jaquetta are actually coming to the wedding because I feel like, they're still supportive. They did like Elric a lot. Oh, this lady's here. This is Donatienne. she is part of one of the families that made it through the famine. Here's Margaret like, did you sell my ladybugs, father? Did people want them? I see they're not on the table. They just haven't been stocked yet. All right, there's one of the ladybugs. Let's see if we can sell them. Margaret's so excited. She wants him to sell these ladybugs so bad. Ooh, and Joan and Cassian showed up. Interesting. And Joan is with child, it looks like. Oh, someone bought the ladybug. He's like, yes, Margaret, your hard work in catching these ladybugs paid off, and we will sell another. Ooh, the knight is going to make a purchase. He's like, Her Majesty the Queen has sent me to pick up yet another item. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this. It's pretty late. We did not so bad, actually. We did sell almost everything. We sold all of his sculptures, so that is great. Okay, so we are home, and Matilda has brought out some meat and cheese. She was just having a day with little James, who is their first angelic child. Oh, Matilda. And Jonathan wants to go all swiper no swiping. Oh, I forgot to have him grab something at the marketplace, but it's fine. Okay, everyone, it's bedtime. Okay, it is super early the next morning, and James is up and ready. It looks like Matilda wants to talk to her mom. Oh, little James is awake and just standing there ominously. Oh my god. Okay, Matilda's pregnant. Okay, so that woohoo last episode led to something. Wow, they haven't had a baby in a while. So I'm gonna have Matilda tell James that they are expecting a baby. And when I was rewatching my earlier episodes, episode 1, how James looked at the beginning versus how he looks now, it's just insane what age and facial hair can do. This man has just gotten hotter with age. He ages like fine wine. Oh, don't ask him if he wants children. She's just like, so how do you feel about having more kids? He's like, so let's announce the news of the pregnancy. And while John's here, let's tell him too. Oh, and he's okay with it. So they're pretty, I think they're both pretty neutral. Future parents united. Matilda's partner took the news of the pregnancy rather well. So that's good. With my people, Matilda's feeling confident because the squad is around. Being around people you know is great. She just loves her little family. Okay, so Elric is here. As I mentioned, he is getting married today, and he's stopping by to see his little family. The kids are probably just hanging out with Gwen. Gwen and the kids are probably getting ready with Miriam, and Elric's come to see his brother and sister-in-law. Let's have Elric just say hi to the kids. Give her a pep talk. Be like, yeah, I'm getting married. You're about to have another aunt. Oh, he's saying hi to the baby. It's so cute. I think, they're happy. Oh, they're happy about it. Oh my gosh. These two are so ridiculously in love. I can't even handle it right now. Oh my God. My heart is so full despite all the tragedy. I'm going to have Matilda talk to Elric. She's going to congratulate him on the engagement. Like, oh my gosh, you're getting married today. We're so excited to go to the wedding. Trader Jacques, you're always here for all the major events, aren't you? And she's probably looking at him and is like, are you going to go to this wedding looking like that? Like, you look homeless. You've looked like this for a while. And I figured that, ever since Elric and the other two were younger, after their parents died, Emma probably helped Elric with like any hair maintenance and stuff. It was probably like just a cute little thing that they did. Obviously, after losing Lavinia, he stopped maintaining his hair and stuff. I'm sure Emma would help him with trims and whatnot, but Matilda's seeing it, and I think now that Emma's gone, Matilda's gonna offer to give Elric a little haircut for his wedding day, and just so he looks fresh and new. And also just because I want to give everyone makeovers, like the years have gone by. Oh, and I actually haven't aged Elric up. I should do that, shouldn't I? Or I'll wait until after the wedding. I don't know if that's gonna mess me up. But yeah, I should have done that a while ago. I forgot. Okay, so let's give him a makeover. Wow. Isn't he so handsome? Okay, there. Wow. I forgot how handsome Elric is. He was handsome with the beard. He still looked very good, but wow. The Rolfe brothers have it going on. So he's always had long hair. They've all had long hair. So I feel like she just kind of like maintained it a bit. It's not so unkempt. It was kind of just like flat. So she probably gave it a little wash too and swept it back. And then she gave his beard a trim so that he looks super fresh and ready for his wedding day. I feel like with all the stress that Elric has gone through, that he might have started graying pretty early. So I'll do this for now. He still looks great. He's a silver fox. So I'll do this for now. If you guys don't like it, let me know, and I'll just like switch him back to blonde and maybe wait, see if there's some other CC I can find that might give him streaks or something. I think he actually looks really good with the grayish hair. I think we can all agree that Elric is a looker. I'm going to put his hat back on for his normal outfit. So here he is looking fresh. Let me also just give him a few lines. Okay, I've got some dark under eye circles here from the stress. I don't want it to look like drastic, but you know, he has been through a lot. Maybe I'll do this. Yeah, there. So I'll give him, you know, he's always been a smiley guy. I'll do the crow's feet right here. There's Elric looking like a silver fox. Let me know if you guys like it. If you don't like it, I'll give him the blonde hair again. But I just figured, you know, he's been through so much. I feel like all this stress has just aged him earlier. But he is ready to go for his wedding. Okay, so there's our guy looking very, very... So Elric has gotten his hair cut. I'm going to have him go to show Matilda some appreciation. Okay, so we've got an hour before the wedding starts. But I feel like before the wedding, he probably asked Gwen, like, do I look okay? What do you think? And she's like, I think you look great, Uncle Elric. And Gwen is like, I think Miriam is going to love it. Matilda's here. She probably came to just help him with the kids because, you know, taking 2 toddlers and a child over to the church, it's probably a lot. And there's Miriam in her veil looking beautiful. And there's Elric looking fresh and fantastic for this wedding. And the kids change into their formal wear. Gregory. It looks like Matilda came to say hi to Jaquetta. The Fletchers have always lived near them, so I'm sure like they catch up here and there. And they all miss poor Lavinia, of course, who we have in our thoughts today. And looks like Miriam is talking to the new priest after poor Bartholomew died. I'll introduce you guys to him in a second, but he is also our officiant. And here's everybody. I'm also going to age Talia up today. I won't roll. Our guests are showing up. Of course, Orla is here because she is becoming really good friends with Miriam. Okay, so we've got 2 more gallery submissions here present for this wedding. This is Sister Amelia of Windenburg, and this is Father Benedict of Windenburg. And they were submitted by Becca Chu 98. Thank you, Becca. It says, I didn't have proper historical CC for them, so I hope I could get the overall idea across. Of course, I went ahead and applied some of my medieval CC to them. Father Benedict is a middle-aged man who grew up in the church. He was orphaned and the nuns took care of him until he was old enough to move. And there he decided he wanted to help others in the same way. He's a very friendly man, but is also very strict when he needs to be. Sister Amelia was a noble woman who renounced her old life so that she could immerse herself into studying the church's teaching. So these are really great backstories and I love it. And after we lost poor Father Bartholomew and Sister Euphemia, I thought it would be a great time to add these 2 as well. So here's Orla at the front to cheer on her friends, because she did become friends with Elric as well. Okay, so I think that's everyone, actually. It looks like she's just trying to give little Talia some reassurance here, and telling all the kids to just calm down a bit. Jaquetta's like, oh, this child looks just like little Dominic. Oh, but oh my gosh, I wonder, he does look a lot like little Dominic. And Jacquetta and Philip, obviously I assume that they were affected by the death of their grandchildren and of course their daughter. So they're probably looking at Gregory like, oh my gosh, he looks so much like Dominic, his cousin. I think Philip's just having a little moment here with him, just reminiscing. And James, who we know as an angel, is just like, oh, Gregory, I need you to behave and not make us toddlers look bad, okay? And Elric and Miriam are back here just having a little chat. I feel like in the last 3 months or so since they got engaged, Miriam definitely got to know the other Rolfs a little better. Obviously, they definitely like her. And I also think they're like, oh my gosh, about time, you know? It's nice to see Elric kind of trying to find a little happiness here. And I think it's so sweet that Matilda is sitting next to Gwen. Matilda was there when Gwen was born, so she's known her literally since day one. And with how close she was to Emma, I feel like she definitely keeps an eye on them, on all of them. But, you know, she's got the same closeness to Gwen, I think, that Emmeline had to Emma. Oh my gosh, editing me real quick, because I just got really emotional thinking about how Matilda probably made a promise that she would take care of Gwen and knows that Emma is up there taking care of Emmeline for her. Okay, bye. So that's really sweet that they sat next to each other. But let's go ahead and just, we're going to pretend the kids aren't causing mayhem here. So here they are walking down the aisle, meeting up Father Benedict. There's so many Benedicts in this series. There's a Benedict Cecil. There are 2 chickens named Benedict, and now we have our Father Benedict. So here they are exchanging their vows in the presence of the Watcher, and with Benedict overseeing them here. He's got this little ring, and it looks great on her. Let's go ahead and kiss her. And I noticed that there's like a little tiny bit of romance here, which I don't know where that came from. Okay. Father Benedict said, let's throw this rice, everyone. And Talia is like, oh my god. And Orla is just talking to Miriam here. I'm actually going to age up both Talia and Charlotte. So now Miriam, I'm going to have her as a young adult for a few more sim days. They're both officially going to be on the spreadsheet. And after this age up, I'll be including them in any other roles. Talia is a genius. Love it. Okay, we've got another social child. What are Charlotte's traits? Oh, she's a bookworm. So we've got 2 smart girls. They probably do a lot of reading and stuff at the Abbey, like maybe like religious stuff. Okay, let's give them makeovers. Okay, so here is Talia, and Elric went ahead and gave her his last name, Talia Rolfe. And she has a very smiley face like her mother. And I went ahead and kept the hair that she aged up with because I thought it looked really cute. And there is little Charlotte. She looks so much like her mother too. Oh, rest in peace, Mary Beth. You are missed. Having this many Sims around makes me nervous. The wedding ended anyway, so everyone's headed out. So thank you everyone for coming. It was great, and we'll make sure our Elric lives happily ever after. And holy crap, I just hovered over Wallace's widow's home, and that's a baby symbol. Okay, I have to check this out, because either she was out there doing stuff or Wallace gave her a baby before he left, or died rather. He didn't leave her, he died. Yeah, Elric and Miriam have been through the motions of marriage. They know what comes next. So I think they're gonna try their best to make things work, I guess. These 2 haven't been intimate with significant others in a while, so I feel like, they're just gonna go acquaint with one another. If you watched Outlander, it's like the first time Jamie and Claire did it as a married couple. They were strangers, but they made it work. They're sitting on nothing. But I think it's nice that they're becoming acquainted. Gwen has her amazing cousins who she loves, but she doesn't, she never had a sibling her age because obviously she lost her twin. So I think she's really gonna enjoy her time getting to know Talia here. So, okay, Elric and Miriam have had their wedding night, and we'll see how they develop. I'm sure these 2 will grow to really love each other. Right now it's a marriage of convenience. But yeah, I think they're both determined to make it work. I feel like they've both lost the loves of their lives. So, and he's over here mourning. He's mourning Dominic. He's probably like, I wish you were here. I think you would really like Miriam. You know, it's a bittersweet moment. So I'm going to leave him here and I'm going to go check on Wallace's wife, Antoine Wield. Is this, oh my God, Wallace's urn is out here. I am so sorry, Wallace. Oh my gosh. Wallace produced a baby before he died, and his name's Antoine. Oh, let's age him up. Okay, so at this point in time, I don't think I will be too involved with this family, but I will check in from time to time, and I will do roles, age him up accordingly. But I do want the kids to get to know him as he gets older. Oh, it's a little Antoine. That's so sweet. Okay, and I will leave Amelia here with her little baby. Okay, so James and Matilda are getting ready for bed. It looks like the kids are gathered here, having a little talk before bed. And George is letting them know that when they were at the marketplace, he overheard the lady at the bar, tending the bar. You know, he's been dealing with Emmeline's death not too well. Margaret with her arms, I can't. But he's letting them know that he saw the prince at the bar at that marketplace talking to the bartender lady, who I introduced you guys as one of the gallery sims, about a recent death. And even though magic is not allowed, I guess the lady sort of hinted to Cassian that she's heard about people being resurrected, but obviously not in Windenburg. So there's a place that's sort of like, it's unincorporated sorta, called Glimmerbrook, which sort of sits at the edge of both Windenburg and Willow Creek, which isn't too far from where they are. It's about like half a day's journey to there and then half a day back. So that would be like a whole day. And he's like, wouldn't it be great if we could actually bring Emmeline back? I feel like Margaret and Jonathan are kind of like, I don't know if that's possible. That seems a little insane if you ask me. And that actually gave them a difficult dynamic. I don't think Margaret's really on board, but I think George, he's just overcome with so much grief, and he was the one that tried to beg for her life and it didn't work. So I feel like this is something he really wants to try. And the way I sort of rationalize this is, I know that during this time, historically, England was pretty much ruled by a French dynasty who also had claim to French land. And then there was like, I think it was Brittany, that during the 100 Years' War, they started battling for the land. So I figure Glimmerbrook is kind of like that in-between land that belongs to both families in a way, but is technically officially part of Willow Creek. And so that means that magic isn't outlawed there the way it is here. So I think the plan is going to be for Jonathan to go with George and for Margaret to stay behind and just like hope for the best. It's kind of a long journey and kind of crazy, but they're kids. They think they can like rule the world here. Okay, so the kids are awake. Margaret is gonna do her thing, and the boys are gonna let Matilda know that they're gonna try to go foraging and stuff because they wanna, since they're getting older, they want to start helping. And Margaret's just gonna stay home and help her mom with the farm. And these boys are gonna make the half-day trek toward Glimmerbrook. And Margaret's like, okay, don't do anything stupid. I still think this is a bad idea. And George is just trying to reassure her, you know. I think he really thinks this is something that'll make his parents happy. And he's basically like, I'm the oldest, so yeah, and she's just wishing him luck. That's so cute. Okay, so after a long day of trekking through the woods and crossing borders, and there's some guy back there, the boys have finally made it into Glimmerbrook, which looks just as woodsy as their part of Windenburg, but there's just something a little more whimsical about it, I guess. And they have spotted the lady that was working at the bar in Windenburg from a distance, which is weird because, like, why would someone who lives all the way over here work in Windenburg? Like, half a day's trek both ways just to work there seems a little bit ridiculous. So George is over here, and he's respectfully introducing himself to the ladies. He probably told John that he'll do all the talking. Look how confident he looks. And this is Josephine. This is Esther's mother that I created. And this is their cottage that I also got from the gallery. I didn't really make it over too much, but they live in this beautiful area of Glimmerbrook. And Jonathan, just because his mother taught him manners, is going to give her a respectful introduction as well. And it looks like Esther went inside or went somewhere. George is probably talking to her to be like, listen, he doesn't want to mince words. He's like, I couldn't help but notice that lady you were with, because I heard her talking to someone about being able to find help around here regarding being able to bring someone back from the dead, pretty much. And Jonathan looks like he's trying to be like, we don't want to intrude here. George is regaling her with the tale of his sister who has passed. And he's like, I just want my parents to have her back because Emmeline and I bickered like siblings, but it's very clear that George loved her. And and Arn is back there. What are you doing in Glimmerbrook, Arn? So he's talking to her. He's like, I heard you could do this. I know you can't do it in Windenburg, but is there any way that you would know if there's some way to bring our sister back? And she's listening to these boys who have traveled so far just to ask some randos in Glimmerbrook, Arn, what are you doing here? But just to ask some randos in Glimmerbrook how to bring someone back from the dead. And she's letting them know, like, you can't just go around asking people that, first of all. That's, if you run into the wrong person, and luckily I'm not the wrong person, there could be consequences for what you're asking, even if you're not directly in Windenburg right now. But she's letting them know, I might be able to help you. If you stay discreet, like I told you. And Jonathan's like, It looks like they're having a little side conversation. I think George is starting to feel a little iffy about it, but John's like, no, I think it'll be okay. You did the right thing. And if we don't figure this out, then we would have come all the way here for nothing. And so she's telling them, there's this well in the ancient ruins of Windenburg, and the boys are like, oh, I've heard of that well. Everyone's heard of that well. Technically, no one is allowed near it. Apparently, Arn has people watching that well constantly. And so this lady's like, well, if you go during this time and this time, then you'll be able to access the well. What I need from you is your sister's ashes or remains or anything you can get me that's like a piece of her physically. Basically telling them that they need to dig up her grave. And then they need to go to that well and give it an offering. But once they give that well the offering, then they can come and bring her, Emmeline's remains, just like a little piece. Even if they dig up a bone or if they've got ashes or something, that's all she needs. And she might be able to find someone around Glimmerbrook who could help them. But it's very difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. And I think they're kind of like, I don't think it's a good idea to dig up Emmeline's grave. That's kind of messed up. But, it's something they want to try. And this lady seems like a nice lady who's willing to help them. They could possibly get in trouble with the royals if this goes wrong, but I think they are going to try and give it a go. And so it's late afternoon, getting into early evening, so they have to make their way back home. And while the boys are making their way back home, I have come to the keep just to check on Joan. She's about ready to pop in. Looks like she's on her way to chat with Crawford. But I feel like during her pregnancy, Joan really likes to go on walk. And obviously she needs to be escorted. So Crawford's going with her. And I feel like during these walks is where they sort of just like, she probably does most of the talking and he listens. I feel like he's definitely got that strong silent type thing going. Obviously she is extremely with child right now. So she can only get so far before needing to just like sit down. This definitely seems like a moment where Crawford opens up a bit more. Like he doesn't seem so serious and put together. It looks like he's just like telling her funny stories and she's really enjoying it. Oh my god, look at her. Her assets, they're looking pretty great. Oh no, she's flirty. Okay. He's embarrassed for some reason. You know what? Maybe while I was looking at her assets, she caught him looking too. They're kind of, looking amazing there. But she's like, it's okay. But I think he will tell her that she looks very nice and radiant because she does. And that revenge dress is amazing. And oh my god, they're both super flirty. Okay, what happens if I flirt? Maybe he's just like very suave and he's just one of those that can deliver like flirtation effortlessly, even if he's not really trying. And it looks like she's really into it. But it hasn't really given them any romance or anything. I think they're just enjoying each other's company right now. Ooh, romance skill went up, but it's getting pretty late. So I think they both kind of catch themselves and they're like, yeah, we should head back. It looks like she's heading to bed. She's gonna go sleep in one of the guest rooms. Meanwhile, Cassian's in this nice bed and Joan is in labor. Okay. Crossing my fingers for this baby. I just want Joan to be happy. Oh, it's a girl. Let's name her Isabella. Her mom's name is Isabel, so it's another little princess. I'm really crossing my fingers for Joan here. She really wanted this baby. Okay, let's start with Joan. Thankfully, Joan is okay. What about Isabella? Isabella's fine as an infant. And she makes it to infancy, thankfully. And once again, ooh, Cassian views Isabella as an unwanted child. Yeah, he doesn't want any of his children except for Gavin, who is his heir. Obviously, he mourned the loss of the babies, but even Sir Crawford managed to show enough empathy to like mourn the loss of like the last baby especially. So, as far as Cassian is concerned, it's Gavin and that's pretty much it. I don't doubt that he loves his kids more out of necessity than anything. However, her happiness over a healthy baby is short-lived because after some time holding sweet little Isabella, Sir Butterfield arrived with grim news. And poor Joan is just utterly torn up by this news because it turns out Joan has lost a parent. Specifically, Sir Butterfield delivered word that King Louis of Willow Creek is now deceased. Meaning, Joan needs to go to Willow Creek to attend a funeral, and eventually, after a mourning period, her brother Laurent will be crowned the new king of Willow Creek. So after experiencing so much heartbreak, so much loss, and then finally finding a friend in Sir Crawford and having a healthy little baby girl after wanting a baby and being a little happier, it's suddenly crushed because Joan has just learned that her father has passed away. And that's where I'm going to end this episode. And this is pretty much where the decade ends. This is a new day. Elric got married, which is great. He and Miriam are working on their relationship. George and Jonathan are up to no good. They went to another land and are probably still on their way. They've got their parents worried sick because they're still not home, but they're doing it for a good cause, or so they think. They met a random couple of ladies in the woods in Glimmerbrook and decided to put their trust in them. They seem nice enough, right? And they just have to do a couple things to try to bring Emmeline back as like a nice little surprise to their parents. Meanwhile, Joan and Cassian had their new baby. Joan and Crawford are becoming better friends, but now she's got to head over to Willow Creek to attend her father's funeral and probably go back after a few months for her brother's coronation. So yeah, this is where I'll leave it. We have finished another decade and it's been a wild one, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I've already posted a community post, but thank you so much for over 700 followers at this point. I did not see myself getting to this point, not even close, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Recap in the next one, and then we'll pick up from there. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day. Bye.